Imagine this. After studying English for years, you are moving to Canada. It should be no problem, right? But when you get there, you can't catch a single word because everything sounds like bzz bzz bzz. That's when you realize you lack actual speaking and listening experience and vocabulary. It sucks. I know, 'cause I've been there. That was me, standing at the counter of a Quiznos in Mississauga, Ontario, trying to ask to have some lettuce in my sandwich. But I had never seen nor used the word lettuce before, so I didn't know how to say it. Lettuce? Lettuce? Yep, I had no clue. In this video, we are going to reflect on 5 principles to get you speaking in your target language in no time, while minimizing possible similar embarrassing moments. Welcome to Sharp Spanish. Let's begin. Number 1. Know your why. Going back to my own story, I found myself among some of the nicest people, but I could not communicate with any of them. I'm not even talking about communicating in a way that reflected my personality. That came later. My motivation back then was to understand what people were saying, plain and simple. Okay, and I wanted my Quiznos sandwich with the Italian herbs bread, extra toasted, please. The bottom line was that I needed to learn English quickly to be able to have at least some basic interactions. And so, my first question for you is this. Why do you want to learn this language? It doesn't matter which one it is. What matters is your why, your reason for wanting to learn this language. Is it maybe you are moving abroad to study or for a career opportunity? Perhaps you met someone you'd like to get to know better. Or maybe you are going on holidays and it'd be nice to interact with the locals. Hey, it could be just as simple as you liking how the language sounds, or being a fan of the culture, music, movies, or even animation. No reason is small enough, but it needs to be meaningful to you, and that is the key. Dig deeper into your why and find your motivation. Think about what you could gain if you became fluent enough to understand this language. You would be able to navigate different situations a lot easier. You could connect with that special someone or with people you just randomly meet. And I know how thrilling it is to listen to a song in a language you are learning and being able to understand every single word. It's a feeling of accomplishment like no other. On the flip side, think about what you could miss out on if you don't achieve your goal. If you are going to be interacting with people in your target language, you probably want to make a good impression. And let's be honest, no one wants to feel like a fool. Know your why, your goal, your motivation, because that's what will keep you going, especially when things get inevitably harder or seemingly more confusing. Number 2, be strategic. Okay, once you know what you want to achieve and why it's important to you, it's time to think about planning your language learning journey. Nowadays, there are too many resources available everywhere, especially online. But our time is limited and precious. And do not fool yourself. The only way to see results is to put in the time and the effort. So, what should you do? Be strategic. With your why in sharp focus, think about how you can reach your goal on time. Be very honest with yourself about these 3 key factors. How fluent do you intend to be by your deadline? How much time every day will you seriously dedicate to studying? What is the best way for you to learn? Let's say you have 2 months until you go on holidays to your dream destination, and you want to be able to strike a basic conversation in the local language at bars or restaurants with some local people. You are willing to study every day for 30 minutes, and you believe the best way for you to learn will be listening to recordings of locals having this type of conversations and by mimicking what they say. Let's say by watching videos. It sounds like a solid plan. If you were to follow it and really put in the effort, you will hit your goal. But if in 2 months you want to be able to have any kind of conversation in casual and business settings, and you are going to be studying for 10 minutes every day, I have bad news. You might not be able to even order a Quiznos sandwich. You need to be realistic if you are serious about reaching your goal. You will need to put in the work every day. Consistency will be your ally, trust me. It's much better to set aside 10-15 minutes every day of focused studying than 1 hour every Wednesday evening. Be strategic. Set your deadline, define your studying time and schedule. Figure out how you learn best. Remember to be realistic when setting your goal. Remember to be consistent. It really pays off to study every single day. And remember to be accountable. Hold yourself to your deadline and your learning schedule. Make it a priority if you want to achieve results. Number 3, learn like a kid. Can we be real for a moment? Do you remember memorizing the grammar rules of your mother tongue? Okay, maybe some of you who have excellent memory do. If you are like me, all you might remember is looking at conjugation tables that you had to memorize for school. Don't get me wrong, learning the conjugation of verbs is very important. But as kids, we first learned our mother tongue by listening and copying the sounds, words, patterns, and sentences we heard from our parents and the people around us. So be like a kid, learn like a kid. First, focus on learning the sounds of your target language. At the beginning of your target language acquisition, don't worry too much about understanding everything you hear. Just focus on listening and mimicking the sounds. This will save you from embarrassing moments, like calling your colleague Vicky when you're just trying to say her lovely name, Vicky. Once you get a good sense of the sounds of your target language, move on to repeating frequently used words and short sentences. Aim to learn key everyday phrases that you are sure to use. This will indirectly start teaching you about the grammar and conjugation patterns of the language in a natural way. Number 4, make lots of mistakes. Going back to my shameful butchering of people's names, I still dread having to say names like Robin. I implore you not to hinder your progress by being afraid of making mistakes. I know it's so embarrassing saying something wrong or taking forever to recall a word, but no one, absolutely no one, was born speaking their mother tongue. We all learned it by repeating what we heard and saying it wrong. If you are serious about your goal, put your ego aside, look it up, and be open to saying some random things that people will laugh at. Trust me when I say that yes, it will be embarrassing in the moment, but those mistakes will help you remember. And years later, when you can speak in your target language, you will look back at those mistakes. You will share them with your friends, and you will laugh at them together. Ask yourself, are you going to let a moment of embarrassment keep you from your goal? I can assure you that learning a new language will bring you lots of wonderful moments down the line. Remember your goal in these moments. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Use them to do better next time. Number 5, don't turn into a translating machine. We all do it, especially when we are first learning a language. We want to say something in our target language, just as we say it in our mother tongue. So we decide to translate it, word for word. The result? The person we are talking to is left confused and unable to understand what we are trying to say. Don't fall for that trap. Your brain is trying to find a shortcut. Don't give in. If you want to eventually reach a level of fluency in your target language where you can express exactly what you want to say, you need to let go of this translating mindset. Trying to translate your thoughts from your mother tongue into your target language will stun your progress. You won't become fluent and you won't sound like a native, no matter how much vocabulary and grammar you may know. If you succumb to literal translations, you won't be able to connect with anyone, no matter how fancy or clever your words are. Instead, aim to learn how natives speak the language. Try and understand how things are said in different scenarios. You want to sound natural and you want people to understand what you are actually telling them. So listen, copy what you hear, and open your mind to learning not just the rules, the grammar, the vocabulary, but the sentence patterns, how natives express different concepts. If you want to sound like a native, you need to speak like a native. The 5 points we've discussed are sure to set you on the right path. But if you'd like me to elaborate on this topic or share specific examples for each of these points, tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and to check out the other videos in the channel if you are ready to start your Spanish learning journey with me. I would love to help you achieve your goals and get that Quiznos sandwich. Feel free to share where you are in your language learning journey, your goals, and any ideas or requests for future content. I'm here to help you. Until the next one. Hasta luego.